take a moment to be pleased that you're over 500 in SEC play after the start of 2 conference play?
Not really. I think what you want to do is take a moment to recognize the SEC schedule is a grind, but sometimes when you get pushed up to the Thursday to Saturday series, it allows for a more relaxed Sunday, either with family, friends, girlfriends, whoever it might be, and it'll be good for our guys. I mean, Doe wasn't the only one that was sick this week, so while we're playing good ball, I think it'd be well served to get a little relaxation, rest up, and also hit the final couple weeks of academics with a full head of steam. And we've got a challenging week ahead of us. Obviously going on the road, but well before that we'll be playing Wofford. And I know they're having a middle of the weekend, so I don't know how they're doing now, but they have the #1 team in the country at throwing strikes with their pitching staff. So rest up and then get right back to it.
How big is it for the lineup when you're getting the production Steve Scott's giving you at the plate recently?
Oh, it's huge because he's a big threat on the bases. And then also he's a guy, not that they're not rooting for others, but we kind of touched on it last night. He's been around a long time. He looks after the younger guys. So guys really enjoy seeing him do well, and it probably feeds him a little bit. So for him to give us a little production, and kind of we've moved some guys around a little bit and have a little bit of stability in our lineup, there's a lot of depth to it compared to what we had going on earlier this year. But I think the biggest benefit we have going on is he's a pain in the butt at the plate. And that was something that was a staple of ours dating back 2 years ago. Guys like Connor Pavoloni, who's capable of sitting in the 4-hole or other places in the lineup, but he'd be down there at the bottom, and just even if you got him out, it was an absolute headache. And when you have to do that over and over and over again as a pitcher or as a pitching coach, you're looking to address things, it turns into a bigger headache.
Simo told us before kind of the changes mentally he's made at the plate for him to have a weekend like this. Just how much does that help him?
Yeah, it was huge because, I'm a big believer in law percentages, and, you can't go 5 for 5 every day, but he's only going to stay down so long, and the percentages will equal out in his favor and show that he's a really good player, but not until you let it happen. And I was a terrible example of getting in my own way, and I don't know that he necessarily did that, but sometimes these kids get frustrated and they let it spiral into something more than it really is. And sometimes it's just, it ain't your swing, you swung at a bad pitch, and I'm not talking about him, or it's not, that you didn't get any hits, but the center fielder made a diving catch. So this is the time of year. I mean, our next game we play will be May. And as a team, you want to march into May, and we did that as a group, and he's certainly doing it as a player now. And probably the most positive thing about today, I don't know if he brought it up, was, there's some frustration. You got arguably the most dangerous hitter in the SEC, and Drew makes a good pitch, and we just don't make the play at second. That's incentive for the average person to be, down on themselves, beat up, and he did the absolute right thing. He was frustrated, as he should be, and then he set it aside. And then after that, he was arguably one of the best players, if not the best player on the field.
You said at the start of this month that this team had its best baseball ahead of it. Are these 2 weekends what you're talking about, or is there still more to come?
Yeah, I think, if you're just going to go off the scoreboard, I think Robin Ventura went with Team USA. I think he went 4 for 4 once with like 2 grand slams. So it's not like you should retire if, maybe you should have because Nolan Ryan took it out on pretty good. But it's not like you should retire because you can't do any better than that. So the results will fluctuate a little bit. There's challenges ahead of us, but I do think we have a picture of what it looks like when we show up to the park with our right approach or best attitude, where guys need to be. It's getting closer, but not a finished product. And it's, like I said, marching towards May. I think we got good ball ahead of us. We just need to keep playing baseball and not complicate things.
What does it say about Drew to respond from one of his worst starts of his career 2 weeks ago with 2 really good ones?
Yeah, it kind of epitomizes who he is, and you don't want to get complacent or cocky either, but you kind of expect things. Again, he's very consistent for us, so the fluctuation, it's not going to be a roller coaster, even though it wasn't right for him that day. So to me, at this point, now that it's over with, you see it as a positive and you put it in your back pocket and know that's behind you. And again, he was really good today, but I think he's a guy, as he marches on, he's constantly working on things, and he'll consistently improve, and again, let the scoreboard take care of itself.
What does Hunter Inslee kind of bring into your team right now, both moving up to the 2-hole and also in the field?
Yeah, I think personality is the big one. I don't know why, but he finally started to be himself. He comes from a great household, and he's almost overly respectful to me. and the other people around him. And now he's much more loose and kind of acts like the guys we've had in the program before, Fergie and things like that, and not afraid to laugh or crack a joke or make fun of me or whatever it is. And so that's the big one. He's added to that personality pot we got going on right now, but also toughness. I mean, I've said it a million times, but I see a lot of value in it. He's not afraid to compete in any situation, including running into a wall or taking charge on a play. Or whatever it is, and you guys know for me, I said we needed to be tougher earlier in the year, and one of the ways we got tougher was by having him more involved.
Who else is in that personality pod?
Oh gosh, there's a lot going on to my right that I'm distracted from the field, but I think it's a lot of them. You know, you can only have so many spots in there, and Kirby all the way down at the end, you know he's doing his thing. And then there's a lot of stuff that goes on in between. I think Tom Wilcox has kind of become the commissioner of that area, and including his t-shirt yesterday. I don't want to know what's going on there. But around me, you know, KT, even though he's injured, and Blake Burke, they're sitting right there. They're involved in the game. Maui's having conversations with Frank. So to me, it's a good sign that it's going from, you know, bookends of the dugout all the way in the middle, and everybody's contributing.
Each player has kind of talked about how this team is coming together. How have you seen that yourself?
Out of me?
No, the team.
Oh, myself? Okay, good. Sorry, I got a little egotistic there. No, I think, I mean, you look at the way they've come together the last couple weeks. It's been fun to see how they feed off each other, they pick each other up. And it takes some time. I mean, if you're in a new relationship, which obviously I'm no expert, you got to navigate through some waters and figure out some give and take, and what's this guy like, and what is he like, and how can this guy help me? And you know, as they slowly move forward each day, you can see it growing in a lot of different areas. It's been fun to see them come together.
Tony, you talk about the law of averages or law of percentages, and I guess with a guy like Christian Scott, maybe there wasn't a ton there because he's been here a while but hadn't had just an absolute ton of bats. What made you believe that he would kind of find this gear and become this productive?
I think he's, you know, if you look at it, Corky, there was an ankle injury, certainly a talented lineup, some other bad breaks he's had along the way. But throughout his career, if you count high school, he's always consistently been a good hitter. And then this summer, he kind of went on a mission to make some subtle adjustments in his swing and be prepared offensively. And then areas of his game like bunting, he was just persistent to make it a strong quality. So kind of that drive to keep going when he wasn't given the incentive all the time. And it's no coincidence he's close friends with Trey Lipscomb, who all you guys talked about was, well, man, why wouldn't this guy just transfer out if he's not starting and he's good and things like that? Well, one of the reasons why Trey became an everyday starter and became arguably the SEC Player of the Year was because he just kind of had that push forward, keep going, and Christian Scott has the same thing.
You talked about leadership with him yesterday. How important for him was it to have some success on the field, do you think, for him to feel like he could step into that leadership role?
I think a little bit, and it not so much more that now he's got the right to do it. It relaxed him and allowed him to be himself, rather than, we mentioned yesterday, kind of trying too hard to go outside it. And that was, you know, something that, again, I hope it's completely behind us, but as each day presents itself, there's new challenges. But this group had to cut out a lot of trying to do stuff that they're not, or, you know, everything you can throw under that umbrella. So I think it allowed him to just be true to who he is, and therein lies your personality deal.
What have you seen from Cal Stark after becoming like the mainstay at catcher, from helping pitchers out with his energy and the team out?
Yeah, a lot of energy, a lot of will to win. You know, kind of a little bit of a glue to what's going on between our coaching staff and what's going on the field, which is what you want out of a catcher. And to be honest with you, I think the other guys do it well too. It's just he's brought his own unique flavor. And again, maybe it was because it was first year or he was waiting to have success, but that personality and that drive kind of bubbles over when you're in here in the cages these days. I don't know that it was like that in the fall. I think we even might have teased him about that in some instances. So who he is a really good player. He's a grinder, which is required for that position. And then he's kind of like the Blake Burke guy, or, you know, Luke Lipsius. He plays a game like a little leaguer. It's kind of fun to watch, even in intense situations.